May is Stroke Awareness Month, and of course, we want to keep reminding you about those signs and what you need to watch out for in case you experience a stroke. I want to bring in Dr. Majurczyk. She is with vascular neurology at the University of Utah, and also Tim Gamble, who is a young survivor of a stroke. And Tim, we're going to talk to you about it in just a minute. But Dr. Majurczyk, I want to start with you first. Let's talk about how frequently strokes happen.
Thank you. It's so nice to be on with you today to talk about this really important subject. So I'm a stroke neurologist at the University of Utah and the director, and we see strokes quite often. Someone has a stroke in the U.S. every 40 seconds, which is kind of hard to believe. And about that adds up to about 800,000 strokes per year. So it is a very frequent problem, and it, as Tim will tell you, can affect people of all ages. Not some people think it's just in the old, but it's not. It's all ages.
It's not. And Tim, you're right now 33, but when you had your stroke, you were only 25 years old, and you were a very healthy person. So tell us what happened.
It totally came out of the blue. I was actually with friends. It was Easter morning in 2013. We had been out for the weekend, just hanging out, getting away, just being friends. And we were actually at breakfast, and I just said, "Hey guys, I don't feel good." So I went back to go down. Lay down in my hotel room, and ended up falling down outside my door. I was completely conscious. And then one of my friends came in and he says, "What are you doing on the floor?" I said, "I just fell down." And I didn't know anything was wrong because my right side, I'm right-handed, was functioning like it should. They put me in the back of a car and drove me to the nearest hospital. Unfortunately, the hospital said they were not equipped for stroke. And so I was then put in an ambulance and rushed across town to another hospital where they were able to recognize it was a stroke, and they located the blood clot in my right artery, tried to remove it 5 times. Clot kept reforming. Eventually, the surgeon said, "You know what? I pushed it as far as I could because of his age, but if I do more, it'll kill him." So they ended up just leave what was there. Damage was done.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, Tim, we are so glad you are okay. And, Dr. Majurczyk, this goes to shows that it can happen to healthy people, but they can be prevented, right?
So the best way to prevent stroke is to keep your blood pressure down, which probably is relevant to Tim's story because he was young, probably didn't have high blood pressure. But for the vast majority of people, that's the number one risk factor. There's also smoking. So we always tell people to stop smoking. I know it's a very addictive and hard thing to do, but quitting smoking is really helpful for preventing a stroke, having your blood pressure be normal, and managing your other risk factors like exercise. But I do want to say that sometimes it just happens, and it's just bad luck.
Yeah, it is. Well, and remind them quickly before we have to wrap up the FAST acronym.
So we talk about FAST, which is face, arm, and speech. And if your face is drooping, then it says that there's something wrong with one side, or your arms. If your arm is too weak when you hold it up, or when you are talking, if you're not making sense. So face, arm, speech. The T is for time, to call 911 as soon as possible.
Thank you for the great information, Dr. Majurczyk. And Tim, thank you for being with us and sharing your story. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
And you can help in the fight against stroke by joining the American Stroke Association for the 3rd annual Utah Cycle Nation. It's coming up this Saturday, so that's May 30th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. You can find out more info if you go to cyclenation.org/Utah.